Continue with the expectation of this afternoon's budget speech by the Finance Minister. There are great expectations for that budget speech. The Healthy Living Alliance wants policy changes to reduce cardiovascular diseases. It says government should prioritize malnutrition and food insecurity. This can be achieved by strengthening school nutrition and social protection programs. Let's find out more from Nzama Mbalati, the head of the Healthy Living Alliance. Nzama, thank you very much for your time. So I'm assuming you'll be looking forward to, specifically in terms of sections, what the education department will be receiving. If you're mentioning that, school nutrition programs should also not get a cut.
Thank you very much and good afternoon to the viewers. So we're looking and expecting the Finance Minister, at least from our own perspective, to increase the health promotion levy from 11% to 20%. This is to ensure that there can be sufficient funding for the school nutrition program and other social protection measures that South Africa needs. So we know the food poverty line, also the social grants are actually not meeting the food poverty line. So we're looking at the health promotion levy that is strengthened, that is increased from 11% to 20%. And this revenue is much needed in the fiscal to actually ensure that we can actually provide more meals for children at school through the school nutrition program, to include breakfast, for example, is one of the things. And we think that using the fiscal policy, to encourage South Africans to make healthier food choices and to curb and reduce sugar consumption, we think this is a critical moment and opportune moment for the Finance Minister to announce the increase in the health promotion levy, or also known as the sugar tax.
Talking about the health promotion levy, Mr. Mbalati, there are people who are complaining about, the increase of this levy and what it might do, especially to that industry that you spoke about, the sugar industry. You know what I mean? It might decrease the sale of sugar and therefore have a devastating impact on people's livelihoods. What's your response to that? Do you think health over wealth?
So I think the industry is putting the dialogue and conversation about, the health taxes, and measures to actually promote health in a difficult conversation, because in one hand, we have been actually encouraging the sugar industry to look at diversifying, the uses of sugar. So if you look at the booming market of ethanol and biofuel, particularly in Europe, that the sugar industry cannot sustain itself by actually wanting to encourage more South Africans to consume more and more sugar. The industry will not survive at this current rate, because if you look at the cheap sugar imports, you look at the labor outputs, you look at the inefficiencies within the sugar industry, and actually the level of corruption and poor governance. So we know about the Tonga scandal as well, that the sugar industry cannot use health promotion level, the sugar tax, to scapegoat the real issues that are facing South Africans in terms of the chronic health conditions that are emerging and growing in large amounts, such as diabetes, hypertension, and heart diseases. So we believe the industry has to shift its narrative from crop production to actually diversifying, the use of sugar and tapping into the market of biofuel and ethanol to make sure that actually it can sustain itself. It's not actually sustainable for the industry to keep on scapegoating its own challenges and own goal of inefficiencies, to the health promotion levy and the health taxes that are actually needed, to promote health for South Africans.
Well, the sugar industry says that, okay, fine, as industries and, stakeholders such as your organization has been saying that they should try alternatives and, instead of having South Africans consume the sugar that they're currently producing. They're saying, okay, how about you put a pause on the health promotion levy for about 3 to 5 years while we find those alternative ways of, giving South Africans a sweetener, and then you can start upping the levy after we found other ways, instead of cutting it or increasing it right now and likely making the industry contribute to the already bad, employment figures in our country.
So one thing that the industry cannot deny is that this levy is important to promote health and to protect people against health conditions. So by pausing, are we saying must we pause, protecting people's health? Must we pause promoting health at the expense of the industry needs? Because now the issue that we're dealing with now is that, do we protect the interests of the few, that is the sugar industry, or we continue as a country to balance the act and actually encourage, particularly the small-scale producer, to encourage, diversification of the crop production, and we ensure that, through the Sugar Master Plan, the industry moves faster, in improving its technology in terms of actually the production of sugar into other uses and other than the consumption in the population, because that pause means that we must pause health promotion, we must pause protecting the people's health at the expense of what the industry needs. So it's a difficult conversation, but we believe as HELA that we need to put the people's health first. We need to actually ensure that we can continue without a pause to protect the health of the population. While the industry needs to sort its backyard in order and ensure that it can be efficient, it can make sure that it can deal with issues of its own governance, and make sure that the manufacturing and the production of sugar, it goes into other uses, which is huge market. So we can't pause promoting health, we can't pause protecting the health of the people.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Nzama Mbalati. He's the head of Healthy Living Alliance. All right.